I decided to read Torn Asunder: Children, the Myth of the Good Divorce and the Recovery of Origins. I decided to read this because I wanted to learn about the impacts divorce has on children, so I'm aware of how it could influence them. This book follows a Catholic doctrine on the sacrament of marriage and has various themes. First is that the children of divorce are negatively impacted. Secondly, there is no such thing as a good divorce, as marriage is a sacrament and should never be broken. Finally, the downfall of marriage and the rise of divorce. In child development, we learn about the difference between nature and nurture and how they can each impact a child. Divorce is a part of the nurture for a child. A large part of child development is the environment that they are growing up in, and divorce is a large part of their environment. Children of divorce are negatively impacted, and upteen studies have concluded that children of divorce are disadvantaged compared to children of married parents. 1/4 of today's young adults are children of divorce, which means 1/4 of today's adults have been impacted by divorce. Torn Asunder explains that children of divorce are deeply wounded and the parents entering a second marriage does not solve the problems. Paul Sullins, a psychologist, says the effect of divorce on a child is best described as loss of being, an impairment at the level of his or her existence. On page 100, Andrew Root, who is an associate professor of youth and family ministry, finds divorce radically changes the way the young people live their lives because their world has changed. This sends a shockwave back to their own being that impacts their environment. When losing one's place and being radically put into question life's meaning, which is the unity between oneself, others, and the world, and the divine source of all that is. For example, Lisa Leclona describes in Torn Asunder that reaction of children of divorce. I felt that I was being extinguished, that I would fall into the abyss and disappear from the face of the earth. I did the only thing I could do, the thing most children of divorce do. I tried not to think about it. Trying not to think about it is also known as the bubble wrap method. There is no such thing as a good divorce, as marriage is a sacrament that should never be broken. Children whose parents divorce in low conflict reasons, like those before mentioned, are more harmed by divorce than those whose parents had a high conflict divorce due to severe destructive behaviors. The children of low conflict divorce are more likely to lose hope in the institution of marriage altogether, because if their parents that got along could not make it work, they don't believe that they can make their marriage work when they get older. Even if divorce ended in good with little to no conflict, the parents still have to share custody of the children. In most cases, 85% of the custody is given to the mother, leaving the children little time to see their father. Children need both of their parents to help them grow and get through life. Divorce also increases the chance of poverty for the family. This impacts the child because the children have a harsher environment. The parents have to work longer and harder hours, leaving the children without their parents during the day. It also has an impact on their education because a child's success in school depends on the support system at home. Children that come from divorce are more likely to be expelled, have lower grades, or drop out of school because of the lack of support that they are getting at home. I have seen divorce personally from my cousins and believe this book to be speaking the truth. My cousins have been impacted emotionally, socially, and academically. They have experienced a high conflict divorce and have been put between their parents. Divorce does have a negative impact on children. The downfall of marriage and the rise of divorce is a direct relation to the abandonment of a patriarchal marriage and the adoption of liberal, progressive, and egalitarian practices. No-fault divorces are policymakers that away the notion that family is a building cell of society, replacing it with both the open freedom of the individual and the power of the state. In the eyes of the law, marriage is understood as a lifelong union between a man and a woman. Communication is key in marriage. Not being able to talk together was a reason for filing divorce in 53% of the cases, and growing apart was the reason for the other 55% of the cases. In child development, we learn about the difference between nature and nurture, and how it can impact a child. Divorce is a part of nurture for a child. A large part of a child development is the environment that they are growing up in, and divorce is a large part in their environment, which is the nurture part. This book follows a Catholic doctrine on the sacrament of marriage and has various themes. First is the children of divorce are negatively impacted. Second is that there is no such thing as a good divorce. And then finally, that the downfall of marriage and the rise of divorce is a direct relation to abandonment. Thanks to you all for listening to my book review on Torn Asunder, Children, the Myth of a Good Divorce and Recovery of Origins.